Bonjour, and welcome to my top 5 teams to use for a French career mode in EAFC 24. We're starting off with perhaps my favourite team on the list. It's Bordeaux from the picturesque city itself in southwestern France. Bordeaux are a 3-star team currently competing in the second tier of French football, and despite having won 6 championships and 4 Coupe de France's, the team have really fallen from grace since their last title in 2009, where they also won the domestic double. Due to major financial issues stemming primarily from the COVID pandemic, Bordeaux narrowly missed out on expulsion from League 2 after an appeal, but still look a shadow of their former selves as they struggle for stability and a return to top flight football. With a budget of just under £9 million, my recommendation is to look for young talents from the French and Spanish top tiers who you can build your core around, whilst also hiring 4 to 5 star scouts who can pick you up some great youth players through the academy, scouting France, Spain, but also North Africa as well. It's not been long since these guys were one of the top teams in France and consistently competing in the Champions or Europa League, so make sure those times don't become a distant memory and get these guys back competing for major honours again. The next team is just perfect for anyone who thinks it's time to take down the giants of Paris Saint-Germain, doing it differently and giving the French capital a new football powerhouse. It's their cross-city rivals Paris FC, a 2.5-star team currently competing in League 2. Paris FC have not played in Ligue 1 for almost 50 years, and with a small budget of just £7 million, you've got your work cut out if you want to end that way in just one season. My recommendations for transfers is to look for young talents in Ligue 1, but also look to get the runoff of young PSG players who may not make the grade at the Parc des Princes, but don't want to leave the French capital itself. Also, for a nice feel, check out veteran French players who may not be ready to retire just yet, but want a nice transition into coaching or scouting playing their final few years in Paris. For you scouting itself, hire the absolute best you can and get him scouting the local talents in and around the French capital in Season 1, as you'll be able to find some absolutely amazing teenage talent from France who can come in and do the job in your first team right from the very get-go. With a limited budget, don't worry about scouting anywhere else just yet. Save that for when you've got a bit more stability and just focus on the young Parisians to begin with. You might just find the next Kylian Mbappe. If you're looking for a long RTG with a strong rivalry with the most dominant football team domestically, there is nobody else better than Paris FC. Take these guys from the very bottom and then dethrone PSG as the best team in the capital, the country, and eventually the world as well. Everybody loves a talent factory in football. You know those clubs who just keep producing young players who develop into world stars in a few years? Those teams such as, Benfica or Ajax or Le Havre? Yes, compared to the other 2 names mentioned there, it feels like there's an imposter among us. But actually, 3-star Le Havre, who gained promotion to Ligue 1 last season, have a superb history of developing amazing young players who go on to have illustrious careers elsewhere in football. Ranging from Dimitri Payet to Lassana Diarra, from Benjamin Mendy to Paul Pogba, from Riyad Mahrez to, well, there's quite a few names on the list who have gone on to do noteworthy things for both club and country. So with that being the case, you've got to stay true to the club's philosophy. With an £8.5 million budget, I recommend foregoing transfer fees in Season 1 and just get yourself the very best 2 youth scouts you can as you look to find the next wave of great young players developing their games in northern France. As I recommend scouting France itself, but also the African continent, as the club has produced many players who were born in those nations, just like French international Jean-Alain Boumsong, originally being from Cameroon, and Ibrahim Ba, who grew up in Senegal. The road to glory may be a long one with these guys, but there's nothing more attractive than developing your own young talents and watching them grow up together and lead the club to glory. It's time for you to put together your class of 24. The 4th team is one for those of you who like a club in a unique location, as we take a look at 2.5-star AC Ajaccio of League 2. The club play on the island of Corsica, and yet despite being one of only 2 professional teams situated on the island, they're considered the noisy neighbours to SC Bastia, their rivals who have won a major honour in the Coupe de France and were runners-up in the UEFA Cup, now known as the Europa League final, to PSV back in 1978. Ajaccio, however, have never even been close to a major honour, so it's time for you to put that right. The club have a very small budget of just over £5 million, meaning I recommend foregoing transfers in Season 1 and just get yourself 2 excellent 4-star youth scouts as you look to scout mainland France and the island of Corsica itself for homegrown talent, Italy due to Corsica being just above the island of Sardinia, and also Northern Africa due to the majority of their immigration coming from the Maghreb region, meaning great young talent from Morocco and Algeria could have a future in your team. These guys are a superb choice for anyone looking for a long and challenging RTG as you aim to conquer mainland France, Europe, and the rest of the world too from your humble beginnings on the island of Corsica. My final team may not fall into the RTG category, but I suppose if you change the R in road to return, then they definitely meet this criteria. It's 4-star Olympique Lyonnais of France, who won all their 7 French championships in a row. Let me say that again. They won all 7 of their French championships in a row, doing this with great young talent such as the likes of free kick legends Juninho, Hatem Ben Arfa, who are going to be a Newcastle icon, Chelsea icons Florian Malouda and Michael Essien, Mahamadou Diarra, and many more too. After building an absolutely gorgeous new build stadium in 2016, it seemed like it wouldn't be long before the club would return to winning major honours after their last one in 2012 being their 5th French Cup, but sadly, the club have actually gone in the opposite direction. With ownership changing hands twice since then, the club have gone from Champions League semi-finalists just 3 years ago to now sitting bottom of the table with just 2 points taken and no wins in their first 7 games. To put it plainly, Lyon are in a bit of trouble. The club has lost some brilliant talent over the years on poor deals, such as Memphis, Hossein Mouar and Moussa Dembele, all leaving on free transfers, despite once being valued at well over a combined 100 million together, and the money they have received for great players such as Lucas Paquetá and Bruno Guimaraes simply hasn't been reinvested very well, if at all, leading the fans to vent their fury at the current American owners. But with top infrastructure, a rich recent history and a big club reputation, they just need the right guidance, and you can provide that. With a £50 million budget right from the first season, put it right and spend that money on some top young players whilst also assembling the best youth staff you can, and scout France and Switzerland due to geographical proximity, and also America too, as you aim to rebuild a relationship between fans and owner. If you're looking to be the superhero that steps in at the nick of time to rescue the damsel in distress, there aren't many better teams to use than Olympique Lyonnais. Thanks for watching guys, and don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed, and also subscribe for daily career mode videos. If you have any other team suggestions from France, then also leave them in the comments, and I'll see you for another top 5 team videos on my channel very soon.